It feels like Carlo Ancelotti has run his course. It feels like Xabi Alonso can come with new ideas and also the personality to be able to handle a dressing room as tough as Real Madrid.
This week, the club and I we have agreed that these 2 games are going to be my last 2 games as Bayer Leverkusen coach. We have to enjoy this moment with mixed emotions. For sure, it's emotional. I have talked this morning with the players, with the staff, with so many people that has helped me during this unbelievable, fantastic 3 years. And now it's a moment to share it as well with on Sunday, especially with the fans in this stadium. Now I think that we can be happy, we can be proud of what we have achieved during this time. The club, like always, we have had a very good connection and understanding, and the clarity was there. So you got it finally, the announcement. After chasing it.
He waited until he knew there was no chance of winning that Bundesliga title. Obviously, the game against Mainz was going to be the last game for them. I just think that it was always going to be interesting. I think that he has created such a big name for himself in such quick fashion on the sidelines as a Leverkusen boss. He's a huge loss for the Bundesliga. He's going to be a massive loss, and I mean massive loss for Leverkusen. What do you do now? How do you attract the next boss? Of course, there will be many big names rumoured to take over that job. I think Ten Hag has probably been the one who's been most rumoured recently. I do think that it's going to be very difficult from here on out for Leverkusen to even compete without this guy on the sideline.
So Xabi Alonso announcing that he's leaving Bayer Leverkusen at the end of the season is the first step in the process, which we expect to culminate with him replacing Carlo Ancelotti as manager of Real Madrid. And I think it's really interesting what we can expect from Xabi Alonso at Real Madrid next season. There's quite a lot of excitement, I would say, around Real Madrid fans here in Madrid. There is the general feeling that it is time for a change. Carlo Ancelotti has been wonderful. He's been very, very successful. But now it's time for a change, some fresh ideas and some new blood. And that new blood is almost certainly going to be Xabi Alonso. How is he going to play with Real Madrid? People are interested and debating already what kind of formation he's going to use. We saw him play with a 3-4-3 or 3-5-2 at Leverkusen and had tremendous success. Really interested to see what he does with the fullbacks as well, because we fully expect Trent Alexander-Arnold to sign for Real Madrid. Where is he going to play in this Real Madrid side? Is there going to be a place for him further up the pitch? How is he going to get, Xabi Alonso that is, how is he going to get Vinicius Jr. and Kylian Mbappe working together and getting the best out of both of them? Is he going to want to bring in someone in midfield, someone that he knows, someone that he worked with at Real Sociedad when he was a youth coach there, someone like Martin Zubimendi from Real Sociedad in the centre of the pitch? Remember, they didn't replace Toni Kroos last season, and we've noticed that throughout the rest of this campaign. So I think there are so many questions about Xabi Alonso and his imminent appointment as Real Madrid manager. But the general feeling is one of excitement here, because it feels like Carlo Ancelotti has run his course. It feels like Xabi Alonso can come with new ideas and also the personality to be able to handle a dressing room as tough as Real Madrid.
Presuming that move does happen, and we all think it will be announced over the next days or weeks, when he sits into that manager's chair in Madrid, what's the first thing in his inbox that he's got to really get right over the summer to turn things around for next season?
The first thing is, how do I get this team to win and win consistently? How do I get this team to win trophies? Because at Real Madrid, you have to win trophies to be able to succeed, to be able to stay at that football club. He does have history with Real Madrid, obviously, as a player, and tremendous history at that as well. He also, not many people actually know this, began his coaching career at Real Madrid. He was in charge of their under-14s when he retired from Bayern Munich. He went in to coach the under-14s before going to having a very successful period of time with Real Sociedad and then on to Leverkusen in 2022. So clearly he's got a connection across multiple angles. But to get it right is always going to be the most important factor for him in his inbox. The team he has at his disposal is ridiculous. The names are insane. You've probably got a Trent Alexander-Arnold coming through the door in that right back position. Defensively, they need to improve because I feel like that's where their weakness has been. Both flanks, left-hand side and the right-hand side of full-back position, need to improve massively. The centre-back position, I think, sometimes needs a bit of a leader, a vocal leader. Sure, in midfield, it's excellent already with what they've got. Offensively, they need to be a bit more clinical. There's a lot at stake for Real Madrid next season because this season they've been made to look a little bit like a mug, right? No major trophy. That's a disaster at Real Madrid. So the only way to go for, in my opinion, Xabi Alonso is up. If he wins a major trophy, job well done. But the only major trophy that realistically the leadership group at Real Madrid want to win is the Champions League. So it might be, okay, how do we win domestically? Yes, but how do we actually go and win that Champions League trophy?
Phil mentioned the chemistry situation between Vini Jr. and Mbappe. Do you think Xabi Alonso is the man to figure that out?
Xabi Alonso's excellent when it comes to obviously being a leader, a very vocal leader as well. Watched many of a training session of him at Leverkusen, incredibly vocal. Sometimes, obviously, as a coach on the sidelines, many people, you don't recognise the coach actually jumps out there on the training pitch. Not this guy. This guy's in the thick of the action. Can't imagine Carlo Ancelotti, albeit a fabulous player in his time, is putting the boots back on to get out there on the training ground and show the players exactly in real time how to do it. Xabi Alonso's doing that right now. He's a lot younger than Ancelotti. But I think that obviously pieces to the puzzle still need to be added to this group to make sure that the chemistry is just right. That leader still needs to be there, in my opinion. I don't think that leader's truly there just yet. There's one player, and I want you all to watch this space, and it's crazy to say it. There's one player from Leverkusen who has announced that he will be leaving the football club, and that's Jonathan Tah. Everyone's expecting Florian Wirtz to be the guy that goes to Real Madrid. But Jonathan Tah helped Xabi Alonso when he first went to Leverkusen with that leadership quality, connection to the players, helping him getting back to the fluent German that he once spoke while he was a Bayern Munich player, and helped him obviously build chemistry within that group, someone he can trust. Xabi Alonso is going to need to have someone he can trust inside that locker room. It's not going to necessarily be an assistant coach, it's going to be a player. And I would imagine that Jonathan Tah, who's a free agent now in a couple of weeks' time, will be one player that he will have on his radar that he might just bring with him that brings a great deal of quality, great deal of presence, but most importantly, leadership and communication to the group from management team. And that's what you absolutely need to do to have success at Real Madrid. How many people have gone there and failed? Ancelotti's a different planet, in my opinion. He's very much untouchable. He does create great chemistry, but there's something not quite right with that Real Madrid group that needs to be corrected, and hopefully Xabi's the guy.
You mentioned the Florian Wirtz rumours, and they've been around, haven't they? That if Alonso did go to Real Madrid, then Wirtz might follow him. Is that the right move for him, though? Because where does he fit into that lineup? There's so many players in that kind of position.
I don't think it happens, Adam. I think the only pull for him now to Real Madrid would be Xabi Alonso. I think the move that Florian Wirtz wants is Bayern Munich, and I think in many ways that will most likely happen. Bayern Munich have the Hollywood title in Germany. They've just won the title once again. They've got Vincent Kompany, who's loving working with younger players, and Bayern need to get younger, simply said.
Just really quickly to spin it back to Germany and to pick up on something you said earlier on, does this feel, for German football, and obviously you know it so well, does this feel like a moment a bit like when Pep Guardiola left Bayern Munich in terms of what is left behind in German football? Does it feel like that point we've reached again?
And Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah, Jurgen Klopp's another
presence. When you have presence, when you have respect in the Bundesliga, and it's not been a great Bundesliga season at all. Quality of play has not been great. Quality of the game's not been great. The average goal per game has been very, very good. But at the same time, the true quality's not necessarily been there. So to go to the Bundesliga, why do we go? We go to watch the characters, right? Your Harry Kanes, your Vincent Kompanys now. Obviously, we turn on to go watch those guys, how well they do. Florian Wirtz does a great job at Leverkusen, but we also watch Xabi Alonso because we're familiar with him. Borussia Dortmund, shocking season. Why are we watching them? Not necessarily a great pool right now. It's a big loss for the Bundesliga. And I think now it's also a big loss for who the hell is going to challenge Bayern at the top.